Katie from Aging and In-Home Services, Professor Schwab from Purdue Fort Wayne here on Insight, talking about advanced care planning laws that will change July 1st. There are two big changes. Let's talk about those.
Sure. So the first one is probably one of the larger changes. So right now, today, if something were to happen and you didn't have that spokesperson appointed, that healthcare representative, there's a group of, I think it's 7 individuals. So your spouse, your adult siblings, adult children, adult grandchildren, grandparents. I think I'm missing one in there, but I know they'll show it on the slide as well.
I think there's some friends too.
And, yeah, say all of those individuals you see right there have equal say.
That blew my mind.
I know. It's a big myth. People don't think it is like that. And so it's called healthcare by committee is how they refer to that law, which is really an unfortunate thing to have all these parties kind of come together on a consensus, which doesn't happen very often.
Right. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So as of July 1st, they are going to give priority to these individuals. So the way really people think it is now will be happening on July 1st.
So the person you appoint has the, ultimate say.
Absolutely.
If that person is not available or it doesn't exist because you didn't do this, then it goes to spouse. Then it goes, I can't read what's next.
It goes spouse, adult child, parent, adult sibling, adult grandchild, and then they have added some folks on there like a friend or the nearest relative. I think a religious superior is the last one on the list there. So there are lots of choices now if something were to happen.
Right, and so that takes effect July 1st, but does not diminish the need to appoint that key person who isn't going to ride in the car with you and who you've had fully, thorough conversations with.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, the law certainly helps healthcare providers, but as a patient, I still want to take the time to appoint somebody and have that one-on-one conversation with them.
And then the second change is the post, that law, the physicians. Does it really look like that? It looks like a tax form there.
It does, yeah.
It does. Yeah, so they've changed a couple of things about the post form, but those won't have a significant effect on patients' understandings and interactions with the post form. It'll have more effect on the practitioners. But the post form is one way to think about, so if you know what a DNR is, it's a do not resuscitate order, which happens in hospitals sometimes, but that's an on or off switch, right? Either we're going to resuscitate or we're not going to resuscitate. The post form is a much more nuanced form that provides patients with the opportunity with conversation with a medical practitioner to identify different levels of care that they want should something happen. So if an individual is, their physician wouldn't be surprised if they died in the next 6 to 12 months, they're eligible for a post form. And if they're eligible for a post form, then they can say, listen, if I stop breathing, I don't want you to intubate. You can do everything else, but don't intubate. Or it can be, I don't want anything. Or it can be, I want everything. And so it allows them to make very specific decisions related to their specific preferences regarding how they're going to be treated at the end of life. And so this is a form that's actually been on the books for several years in Indiana, but isn't as well known. So there is this change coming to the post form, but I think most important right now is for more people to be aware that the post form exists as a way for people to manage the end of life care that they're going to receive.
Have either of you had a conversation about this? How hard is this to go through with a loved one?
It's tough. And I went through this whole process with my in-laws. So not, I guess my parents, we've done this, but my in-laws, we had a really interesting conversation, and they looked at me like I was crazy. I mean, why do we need to talk about this? Why is it important? And we sat down as a family on Thanksgiving of all days, because that was when everybody was in town. That's when we're all together. And we talked through some of these issues, talked through the healthcare representative. My husband's one of 3 children, so who's going to do that out of 3 people? And by the end of it, you could tell everybody, the shoulders kind of went down. Everybody was feeling much more comfortable with talking about these things. And that was a few years ago. And, we've continued those conversations over the years as health, emergencies have occurred.
And health changes, you've got certain things that, suddenly enter the picture that weren't there when you had the conversation.
It's not only health changes, but also perspective changes. So right now, when I have the conversation, being physically active is really important for me personally, right? So that's something I really want. 20 years from now, will I be in the same position, right? Like, I
Right.
might want to, but there may be other things keeping me. And so it's not only having the conversation the first time, but it's an ongoing conversation, because what you're really talking about is, what do I find meaningful in my life? Because we talk about it as end-of-life care, but it's not really about the end of life. It's about your life going up to the end. What is meaningful to the individual? What do they want their family members, their medical practitioners to know are the important things to be keeping in mind as they're making decisions about their health care?
So people that are watching, if they have any more questions, you're still available. You'll do everything except have the initial conversation with my loved ones, I'm guessing.
Well, sure.
Although sometimes they can help with that.
I was going to say, sometimes I can help with that
there
too.
we go.
I've done almost kind of like mentoring sessions with people on how to introduce it. But yes, please call us, and they can be connected to me. We have this brochure we can send out to them as well.
And that will get you up to date. Aging and in-home services on the web too, or the phone number you see there. We will be right back here on Insight.